Part 64. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yun Suya. Chapter 631. Chapter 631. Can Jun's parents accept it? Xia Ying shook her head and looked helplessly at Chu Shenxiu's heartless look. She hoped that her father was right. Chu Shenxiu was shrewd at heart and just didn't say anything. After talking to Luo Xian, Xia Ying went to find Yu Lingfeng again. Yu Lingfeng had already begun to read leisurely and calmly. Like a well-behaved child, 11 Ju stayed by Yu Lingfeng's side quietly. Although the books that 11 Ju reads are not on the same level as Yu Lingfeng does not have such big requirements for 11 Ju. For Yu Lingfeng, 11 Ju only needs to start reading books and stop reading comics that he cannot understand. Afterwards, he was already very comforted and contented. Yu Lingfeng. Xia Ying gently called Yu Lingfeng's name, and walked toward Yu Lingfeng with heavy steps, as if they were filled with lead. When 11 Ju saw Xia Ying coming, he left very sensibly. Yu Lingfeng put down the book in his hand, slowly raised his head, and stared at Xia Ying silently with a pair of deep eyes. From the time Luo Xian called Xia Ying out just now, Yu Lingfeng had a vague premonition that something bad was going to happen. Seeing Xia Ying's troubled expression now, Yu Lingfeng was already prepared for any bad plans. "What's the matter?" Xia Ying walked up to Yu Lingfeng, bit her lip, thought for a long time, and then said, "First of all, after I tell you, you are not allowed to be angry." Yu Lingfeng's eyes darkened. "So, what you want to say will make me angry?" Xia Ying frowned. "Okay." She was still surrounded by Yu Lingfeng. "Jun Chenai's parents are here," Xia Ying said. Yu Lingfeng's face was not troubled. In Yu Lingfeng's view, Jun Chenai had little to do with him even if his whole family came. However, since Xia Ying started with this, there was some connection, so Yu Lingfeng was waiting for her to continue. "You still remember that my parents and Jun Chenai's parents agreed that Jun Chenai and I would be engaged?" At the end of Xia Ying's words, her voice became lower and lower, and only she could hear the last few words clearly. Yu Lingfeng's eyes darkened a bit, and Xia Ying couldn't quite understand Yu Lingfeng's expression at this moment. To say that he was angry, he seemed to act calmly, and to say that Yu Lingfeng didn't care, but after Xia Ying finished speaking, he remained calm and did not express his position. "Yu Lingfeng, don't worry, my mother said this time the main thing is to make it clear to the Jun family about breaking off the engagement." Xia Ying continued, "So, tonight, my parents and I are going to Jun's house for a banquet." Yu Lingfeng raised his eyes, met Xia Ying's eyes, then nodded slowly, and responded softly, "Yes." "You're not angry, are you?" Xia Ying came closer and looked at the subtle expression changes on Yu Lingfeng's face. Yu Lingfeng shook his head but did not answer. "That's good." Xia Ying breathed a sigh of relief. "Is it acceptable to Jun's parents?" Yu Lingfeng suddenly asked again. "Whether it's acceptable or not, as long as my parents don't agree, the Jun family has no reason to force me," Xia Ying continued. "What's more, when I went to the Jun family last time and saw Jun Chenai's parents, I felt that they are both easy to talk to. Although Jun Chenai's father has always been stern, his mother still seems to be a very gentle person. I think it shouldn't be too difficult for them to accept it." Yu Lingfeng moved the corners of his mouth but said nothing. End of this chapter. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yun Suya. Chapter 632. Chapter 632. I haven't read the books in vain in the past few years. At night, Xia Ying, Xia Chuanhai, and Luo Xian went to Jun's house. Yu Lingfeng and the others were left at home. Yu Lingfeng watched Xia Ying's car disappear into the night and stood at the door for a while before turning around and entering the house. "Master, do you need me to follow you?" 11 Ju took the initiative to ask for the tell. "Need not." Yu Lingfeng looked calm. "Master, I always feel that the Jun family is not so easy to talk to. 11 Ju frowned and said. The Jun family are all businessmen. Although they appear to be gentle and charitable on the surface, who is not a scheming master behind the scenes? Especially Jun Chennai's parents. As the heir to the Jun family, Jun Chennai's criteria for choosing his partner must be comparable to those used by ancient emperors when choosing concubines. Since the Jun family's parents proposed to marry the Xia family, they must have taken a fancy to Xia Ying. Since he is someone who is favored by the Jun family will not let him go so easily. For the Jun family, Xia Ying is the best choice. With a background from one of the four major families, Xia Ying is the most famous socialite in the upper-class circles of the entire imperial capital. At the same time, Xia Ying also has such profound attainments in music. No matter which one of them it is, it will kill all the other women who want to marry into the Jun family in seconds. Yu Lingfeng glanced at 11 Ju slightly. It seems that your reading in the past few years has not been in vain. 11 Ju was stunned by Yu Lingfeng's praise, and then looked up at Yu Lingfeng. So, master, you think so too? Then master, why don't you allow me to go? Don't be so anxious. Let's take a look at the Jun family's stance first. Yu Lingfeng said slowly. At this time, Chu Shenxia walked by with a bucket of popcorn in his arms and saw Yu Lingfeng talking to 11 Ju with a deep expression on his face, so he walked over and joked, "You demon head, do you feel a sense of crisis now? You know, Xiajun and my cousin are still engaged. If you don't pay attention, my cousin Xiaoying will marry Xiajun." Yu Lingfeng glanced at Chu Shenxia. What do you want to say? Chu Shenxia curled his lips and smiled, looked at Yu Lingfeng with a flattering face, and said with a smile, "The Yu demon head is the Yu demon head. How do you know that I have something else to look for you?" Yu Lingfeng didn't even look at Chu Shenxia, but said with a calm expression, "Is it possible that you came here specifically to seek death?" The smile on Chu Shenxia's face suddenly turned cold. This Yu Lingfeng was really boring. Even when he was joking, he was so serious. "Let's make a deal. You help me play games, and I'll help you trick Xiajun and see if Xiajun and cousin Sakura have any fun. How about it? You won't lose, right?" Yu Lingfeng's cold gaze swept over Chu Shenxia's face. "I don't need to bother with what I want to know." Chu Shenxia. "What do you mean? I came here to cooperate with you sincerely. After all, in my heart, you are still more suitable to be my cousin's husband. It doesn't matter if you don't want to please me. You won't even accept such a good deal now. Do it?" Chu Shenxia then tempted Yu Lingfeng and said, "Xiajun and I are very familiar with each other. I can also help you find out whether Xiajun still likes my cousin Xiaoying." Yu Lingfeng frowned and said, "Don't force certain things. Jun Chennai treats Xiaoying the same way, and you treat your games the same way." After Yu Lingfeng finished speaking, he left with a dull expression. Chu Shenxia thought about it for a long time before he realized that Yu Lingfeng was hurting him as a newbie in playing games. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yuan Suya. Chapter 633. Chapter 633 Jun Chennai, what's wrong with you? When Xia Ying arrived at Jun's house, Jun's parents were waiting at the door to welcome Xia's family. Xia Ying wore a light pink skirt and got out of the car, with her long, soft, and shiny curly hair hanging casually behind her. The gentle night breeze blew by, blowing Xia Ying's long hair like seaweed, making her whole person look full of fairy spirit. Xia Ying's makeup was very light today. In the night, Xia Ying's big and bright eyes were as bright as stars. A thin touch of light red on the lips, pure and charming. Xia Ying looked up and saw Jun Chennai, his parents, and Rong Si standing in front of Jun's house. Jun Chennai was wearing a small blue suit. He had a fair face and delicate facial features. Probably because he was going to film a movie, Jun Chennai's original chestnut hair was dyed black. He looked much younger, and he didn't look like he was on stage. The idols who are illuminated by the spotlight are more like the school idols who are chased and obsessed with by thousands of girls in school. Jun Chennai's eyes fell on Xia Ying, and his originally indifferent expression suddenly brightened. Xia Ying was clearly right in front of her, but the way Jun Chennai looked at Xia Ying seemed to be several galaxies away. Even if he stretched out his hand, he couldn't touch her. Jun Chennai's father is an extremely handsome and heroic man. Even though he stood there without saying a word, the powerful aura exuding from his body still made people shudder. Jun Chennai's mother is a typical lady. Her eyes are watery when she smiles, she speaks softly, and her every move is gentle and charming. Rong Ci is still the same Rong Ci, unchanged at all. When he saw Xia Ying, he smiled like an old friend he hadn't seen for a long time. The Xia family's parents and the Jun family's parents were chatting with each other, and Xia Ying and their children followed behind them, heading to the dining place together. Jun Chennai hasn't seen Xia Ying for a long time, and it seems that he has nothing to talk about, but he doesn't say anything and keeps walking like this, which seems very embarrassing. Even Rong Ci, following Xia Ying and Jun Chennai, felt the air was full of embarrassment. "Well, your recent new song is great." Jun Chennai pretended to be careless and mentioned something. "Thanks." Xia Ying didn't know what to say, so she replied with a very polite thank you. "By the way, when will you release a new song?" Xia Ying was thinking about it and asked Jun Chennai. Xia Ying originally said this unintentionally, but when Jun Chennai heard this question, his face immediately showed unconcealable sadness. He may never be able to touch music again. For the sake of his family, he must give up all his passion. "What's wrong?" Xia Ying saw that Jun Chennai didn't answer her question for a long time, so she turned to look at him in confusion and asked. "Nothing." The smile on the corner of Jun Chennai's mouth was very bitter. "If you can you write a song for me?" Jun Chennai suddenly asked. Xia Ying looked at Jun Chennai. Jun Chennai's eyes were sincere. Xia Ying could see many complicated emotions in those deep eyes, such as sadness, reluctance, but helplessness. "Jun Chennai, what's wrong with you?" Xia Ying felt that something was particularly wrong with Jun Chennai today. As usual, Jun Chennai would start to quarrel after not saying a few words to her. Moreover, Jun Chennai has always been the kind of person who has a playful smile and is so arrogant that he can fly into the sky and stand side by side with the sun, but today he is extra quiet. End of this chapter. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yun Suya. Chapter 634. Chapter 634. Xia Ying already has a boyfriend. Jun Chennai met Xia Ying's gaze, and then, Jun Chennai calmed down the emotions on his face as quickly as possible, revealing a smile that Xia Ying was no longer familiar with. Jun Chennai is the actor, so his acting skills go without saying, but Xia Ying always has a vague feeling that Jun Chennai has something on his mind. "There's nothing wrong with me, young master," Jun Chennai said to Xia Ying with a light smile on his face. Xia Ying saw that Jun Chennai had no intention of saying anything, so she stopped asking further. However, Xia Ying can probably guess it. Jun Chennai is no longer a child now, he is going to college soon. The important responsibilities of the Jun family began to be shared step by step on his fledgling wings. Jun Chennai's wings became heavier and heavier. He could no longer fly high or far. He could only be confined to the Jun family forever. In a piece of heaven and earth. After everyone sat down, the servants began to serve the dishes. After 2 years of not seeing each other, Sakura has become more and more sophisticated now, she is really a big girl. Jun Chennai's mother obviously likes Xia Ying very much. She happened to be sitting opposite Xia Ying again. During the meal, she kept staring at Xia Ying with a motherly smile. In particular, the longer she watched, the more Jun's mother felt that Xia Ying and Jun Chennai beside her were a perfect match. Xia Ying has become more and more famous in the music industry in recent years, and Chen Yi has always liked music. Thinking about it this way, these two children still have something in common. Junfu added. Father Jun is a serious person, but when he saw Xia Ying, the expression on his face softened a lot. He is very satisfied with this future daughter-in-law. I heard from Rong Ci that Chen Yi and Xia Ying have been roommates for 3 years. Xia Ying and Jun Chennai listened to what the adults said to each other, but couldn't get anything in to say, so they had no choice but to eat dryly on the sidelines. Luo Xin originally wanted to mention Xia Ying and Jun Chennai's engagement, but the Jun family's parents kept talking enthusiastically about their 2 children. They couldn't interrupt it at the dinner table, so they just wanted to finish eating. Let's talk after dinner. After dinner, both parents were chatting in the living room. As expected, Jun's parents began to mention the marriage of Xia Ying and Jun Chennai. The Jun family's parents wanted to get engaged immediately and get them married after graduating from college. I know it's hard to say anything, but for this kind of thing, I think it's better to respect the children's opinions. As soon as Xia Chuanhai finished speaking, the expressions on the faces of Jun's parents immediately darkened. Brother Xia, just tell me what you mean. Jun's father said coldly, looking at Xia Chuanhai's expression motionlessly. Could it be that Chennai, our family, did something bad that made you dissatisfied? Jun's mother added, we happily decided on this marriage at the beginning, but now, brother Xia, you suddenly want to break the contract. If so, I'm afraid it's a bit unjustifiable. That's true, but Xia Ying and Chennai have no relationship now, and the most important thing is that Xia Ying already has a boyfriend. Xia Chuanhai said. Jun's father's face tightened, you have a boyfriend? But they all know that the 2 children are engaged. What's going on now? Chen Yi also knows. Xia Chuanhai continued, although I also like Chennai very much, and I also think the 2 children are a good match, but neither of them have this intention. As adults, we can't force it, right? End of this chapter. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yuan Suya. Chapter 635. Chapter 635. Xia Ying is your best choice. Jun's father didn't take it seriously. He curled his lips and said in a stiff tone, it's okay for the children to be ignorant. Brother Xia, why are you also fooling around? Who is the other party? Which family and origin, no matter how good he is, can he compare to? Can you come to our Jun's house? How many famous ladies are trying hard to get involved with the Jun family, let alone Jun Chennai, the future leader of the Jun family. The national male of China, the man that women in China most want to marry. These series of titles are no joke. Jun's parents couldn't understand. Their child had such good conditions, but Xia Ying actually found a boyfriend outside. Who is that person? Can their son be born with good looks? Will their son be outstanding? At first, Jun's parents thought that Jun Chennai and Xia Ying had been at the same table for 3 years in high school and at least had a good relationship foundation. Who would have thought that just like that, Jun Chennai could let the daughter-in-law he got slip away? In everyone's eyes, Jun Chennai and Xia Ying are a match made in heaven. But who knows, the person involved doesn't appreciate it. Of course it's not as good as your Jun family, but Sakura likes it, and there's nothing we can do about it. Have you thought about it carefully? Marrying into our Jun family is your best choice. Of course I know, but please forgive me. As a father, I just want my children to be happy. Jun's father glanced at Xia Chuanhai and didn't say much, but the expression on his face clearly became stiffer, especially when Xia Chuanhai finished his last sentence. It seemed to be a mockery that they only cared about their own interests and ignored Jun Chennai's thoughts. However, in front of the huge family, Jun Chaniai's personal emotional destination was nothing at all. They couldn't let Jun Chaniai marry a woman casually. Whether it was Xia Ying or the power of the Xia family, they were bound to win. The Xia family left, and Jun Chaniai was called to the study by his parents. "Chen Yi, let me ask you, what is going on?" Jun's father was so angry that he slammed the desk and yelled angrily, "I told you before, Xia Ying is your fiancée and your future wife, why are you so unsatisfactory and let her be taken away by others?" Jun Chaniai frowned, not understanding his father's inexplicable accusation and his behavior of placing the blame on him. "Xia Ying is free to decide who she likes, how can I control it? You spend time with him day and night, so you can make her fall in love with someone else." Jun Chaniai finally understood. The two parents were talking alone just now, and they were probably talking about the engagement between him and Xia Ying. Things have already happened. Xia Ying and her current boyfriend are very loving. I can't possibly break them up. Bastard, what do you know? Xia Ying is your best choice. If you can't get Xia Ying back, I will arrange a marriage for you with the Princess of Country S. Jun Chaniai was startled when he heard this. He had never heard of the Princess of Country S. However, Jun Chaniai saw that his father was so angry that he was turning blue. He was definitely not joking. "So, in your eyes, whoever I marry is just a deal, right? A sad deal of profit." Jun Chaniai twitched the corners of his lips and sneered twice. "Chen Yi, you have to know your identity. Many things are not your choice." Jun Mu sighed and said helplessly. Jun Chaniai sneered coldly, feeling a sharp pain in his heart. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yuan Suya. Chapter 636. Chapter 636. Too many people have too much helplessness. I don't care who you like, but we must decide the mistress of the Jun family. I only give you half a year. If you can't get Xia Ying back, prepare to get engaged to the Princess of Country S. These words kept ringing in Jun Chaniai's mind. They were obviously his closest relatives, his parents, but the words he said could send him into an abyss, and he would never recover. Rong Si walked towards Jun Chaniai, who was currently sitting on the sofa in his room, looking at the magnificent surroundings with empty eyes. These were never what he wanted. Jun Chaniai just didn't understand why his grandfather, who loved him so much, gave him the entire Jun family when he was dying. He clearly knew what he liked and what he was pursuing, but he abruptly broke the wings of his dream. Jun Chaniai closed his eyes, his eyelashes trembling slightly because of anger. Rong Si approached Jun Chaniai, reached out and patted his shoulder, and whispered, "Chen Yi, this is your destiny. I don't want to be a puppet, and I don't want to live like this for the rest of my life." Jun Chaniai said bitterly. "There are too many people and too many helpless people in this world. You know, they forced me to Xia Ying back. They said they couldn't her back, so they asked me to get engaged to the Princess of Country S. The Princess of Country S, they are really powerful." Jun Chaniai said mockingly. "The Princess of Country S is the one who is known as the most beautiful royal princess. Isn't that little princess only 13 years old?" Rong Si frowned and said. "At the age of 13, you were forced to get engaged to Jun Chaniai. So crazy. You won't wait until the princess turns 18 before marrying Jun Chaniai, right?" Rong Si couldn't understand the behavior of Jun's parents. No matter how eager they were, they couldn't find such a young girl. "Have no idea." Jun Chaniai shook his head. For him now, he had no choice at all. "Then are you planning to pursue Xia Ying?" Rong Si lazily asked nonsense words. "We are doing well with Yu Ling Feng, why should I break them up?" Jun Chaniai replied dully. It is true that he likes Xia Ying, but just because he likes her, he hopes that she can be happy. She would never be happy with him. There is absolutely no way Xia Ying would give up her dream and manage the Jun family with him. So, Jun Chennai has no intention of pursuing Xia Ying again. Xia Ying and Yu Lingfeng being together is already the best outcome. So, you're just waiting to get engaged to the princess next year. Jun Chennai lowered his head and did not answer. Forget it, just take a good rest, don't think too much. I'm going to the United States to film in a few days, so take a good rest. After Rong Ci finished speaking, he turned around and left. At this moment, Jun Chennai's cell phone placed aside rang. This is Chu Sensio's phone number. Hey, Xiajun, have you seen the battle post I sent? I want to declare war with you. Do you want to have a 1v1 game? Jun Chennai was originally in a low mood. Chu Sensio invited him to play a game. He naturally nodded and agreed, as if he had found an outlet to vent. Chu Sensio hit the muzzle of the gun at this time, and naturally lost his pants. Chu Sensio hugged his head and cried on the other side of the computer. It's not fair. Jun Chennai is really a monster. We robbed him of all his equipment and heads, but he didn't lose a drop of blood. Did you brat, use cheats today? Chu Sensio sent a message angrily. End of this chapter. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yuan Suya. Chapter 637. Chapter 637. What kind of girl do you want? Jun Chennai looked at the sentence sent by Chu Sensio on the computer and snorted disdainfully. His long and white fingers flew quickly on the keyboard and replied to Chu Sensio, to deal with a bad guy like you still need to cheat? Chu Sensio was so angry that he almost followed the network cable to challenge Jun Chennai for a duel. This guy was getting more and more arrogant. Hello, what did you and my cousin Sakura talk about today? Although Chu Sensio was an outsider, he vaguely felt that this matter was not simple. Obviously Xia Ying is now with Yu Lingfeng, but Jun's parents are dragging Xia Chuanhai and the others to discuss Jun Chennai and Xia Ying's marriage. This is obviously a dirty thing. However, Chu Sensio was curious about how the Jun family's parents felt when they found out that their daughter-in-law had flown away. Since when have you become such a gossip? Jun Chennai replied angrily. Originally, I wanted to play games with Chu Sensio just to adjust from what happened just now, but it turned out that Chu Sensio, a fool, didn't pick any pot. Asking, after all, it's a lifelong event for my cousin Sakura, isn't it? Jun Chennai's face darkened. Don't you know, what else are you asking? Chu Sensio was speechless for a moment, as if he had exposed something. So, the matter between you and my cousin Sakura is dirty, right? Jun Chennai didn't reply to Chu Sensio for a long time. Chu Sensio thought that Jun Chennai was too sad to control himself, so he quickly typed to comfort him, hey, it's okay, don't be sad, there are only so many people in this world, there are so many good girls out there, maybe one of them will be blind and fall in love with you. Jun Chennai was still moved in the first half, but was the last sentence a ghost? Even if Chu Sensio is seeking death, he should be a little more tactful, okay? Just take advantage of the moment when his temper is out of control and hit him with a gun. That's enough. Old turtle dove, are you itchy? Ahem, just a joke. Chu Sensio replied to Jun Chennai with a smile, you are Jun Chennai, what kind of girl do you want? Jun Chennai just smiled bitterly. He thought so at first. He was Jun Chennai. Who wouldn't like him, Jun Chennai? However, there is just such a person who doesn't like him, and that person, he still likes her so much. Jun Chennai felt that his ridiculous status never seemed to bring him any benefit. It only brought her danger at any time and place, an increasingly heavy burden, and a lifetime of freedom. My parents arranged another marriage for me. When Jun Chennai looked at the words he typed, he felt that every word was like the flames erupting from hell, burning Jun Chaniai's heart, which was not strong in the first place. Chu Sensio was stunned. What kind of marriage? Jun Chaniai's parents are really very positive. They just had a bad marriage, and now they have a new one coming non-stop. At this speed, I'm afraid I might have thought about this spare tire a long time ago. However, thinking of this, Chu Sensio slowly began to feel sorry for Jun Chaniai. From the beginning to the end, he could not help but make the final decision on his marriage. A princess, only 13 years old this year, ha. Chu Sensio could feel Jun Chaniai's helplessness through the screen. Oh my god, 13 years old, what a sin. Chu Sensio covered his frightened little heart and said. End of this chapter. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yun Suya. Chapter 638. Chapter 638. Yisun's birthday is tomorrow. Where is the princess? Chu Sensio asked casually. The Jun family is planning to become a noble bloodline. The Jun family's parents are really good at playing. The little princess of country S. Chu Sensio looked at the words on the screen and was stunned. What? The little princess of country S, isn't that his fiancée? Ah, no, how did the Jun family get involved with the royal family of country S? Although Chu Sensio was very reluctant to admit this, the little princess of country S was really his fiancée. Although it was just a joke at first, Chu Sensio later realized that the king was serious. Whenever there is a state banquet, people from the Chu family will be invited to attend, and they take great care of Chu Sensio, as if he is training him as his future son-in-law. Although the little princess has been studying abroad and Chu Sensio has never seen her, the king is always vigilant about Chu Sensio's love life and does not allow Chu Sensio to get too close to other girls. One of the reasons why Chu Sensio came to China to study was to escape from the king's eyes, so as not to be constantly watched by his people. Jun Chaniai gradually became suspicious when he saw that Chu Sensio didn't reply to him for a long time. Jun Chaniai then thought about whether Chu Sensio was from S country and had any contact or understanding with the little princess. After all, Jun Chaniai also knew that the status of their Chu family was quite high in S country. Do you know? Chu Sensio was shocked when he saw the question from Jun Chaniai, and quickly denied it. I don't know. After Chu Sensio answered, he immediately went offline, turned off the computer, and then looked up to the sky and sighed, my god, is this world so small? However, if the Jun family can really get the little princess, it will be a good thing for him, and he will not need to worry about being forced to marry by his family when he returns home one day. Ye Xiaoxun's birthday is tomorrow. Xia Ying made the music and couldn't wait to show it to Yu Lingfeng. Yu Lingfeng read the score for a long time, and finally nodded in affirmation. Very good. Ha, really? Xia Ying looked happy, then took the sheet music and read it carefully. Yu Lingfeng looked at Xia Ying's lowered eyes with unbreakable warmth in his eyes and said, you have already won the San Diego music competition, why are you still not confident in the music you made? Xia Ying looked up at Yu Lingfeng, I don't know, maybe I'm used to it. Every time I finish writing a song, I feel like I have to give someone a review before I can feel at ease. Ye Xiaoxun will be very moved. Ha, I think so too. Xia Ying said with a smile, then suddenly thought of something, took out her mobile phone, found the latest serialized novel of Ye Xiaoxun's pen name Yisun, and left a message at the bottom, Happy birthday to Yisun. Yu Xun's fans saw Xia Ying's message and responded below one after another. Really? Is it my birthday today, Yisunda? It's Yisun's birthday? How come I don't know? I didn't even tell you. Crying, I may be a fake fan, but I don't know that Yisunda's birthday is today. Xia Ying smiled and replied to them, Yu Xun's birthday is tomorrow. You can think about what kind of surprise you can give Yisunda tomorrow. Yu Lingfeng came closer and saw what Xia Ying was doing. You are quite smart. End of this chapter. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yuen Suya. Chapter 639. Chapter 639 set many records. Xia Ying raised her head and looked at Yu Lingfen with a smile and said, "After all, it is the birthday of the 18th coming of age ceremony. I want Xiaoxun to have an unforgettable birthday. If her fans collectively celebrate her, Xiaoxun will definitely very happy." Yu Lingfen agreed. Sure enough, with Xia Ying's guidance, the fans all knew about Ye Xiaoxun's birthday tomorrow. They also said that they would set up a group to discuss how to celebrate Ye Xiaoxun's birthday. It seems to be our 18th birthday, right? Yes, 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 Yi Sunda mentioned his age once before when he was 16 years old. Now, by calculation, Yu Xunda will be his 18th birthday tomorrow. Oh my god, I have liked Dada for so many years, but Dada has just become an adult. Yu Xun Dada is really awesome. At early morning, the words Happy 18th Birthday to Yu Xunda appeared in the center of the screen in the central square of the imperial capital and were broadcast on a rolling basis. Moreover, Yi Sun's book review area is also full of rewards. Every time it is refreshed, there will be several articles and they will never stop. The content of each reward is to wish Yi Sun a happy birthday. There was an explosion of messages in the book review area, and the system was operated many times. Yu Xun's Weibo, Taiba, various social accounts and software all contain messages wishing her a happy birthday. Happy 18th birthday, Yi Sunda even topped the Weibo hot search list in just half an hour. Yi Sun has created many records. He was the first internet writer whose birthday was celebrated on the big screen in the imperial capital central square. He was the first internet writer whose birthday was ranked number 1 on the Weibo hot search list. Moreover, the reward on that day, the record, is also the highest in the history of online literature. At this moment, Ye Xiaoxun is sleeping and has no idea what is happening on the internet. It wasn't until Ye Xiaoxun got up in the morning, turned on her phone as a habit, and saw the news pushed by Weibo that she knew what had happened. However, while being moved and excited, Ye Xiaoxun also wanted to know how fans knew his birthday. Ye Xiaoxun didn't think about this question for long before she saw the WeChat message Xia Ying sent her, "Happy birthday Xiaoxun. Thanks." Ye Xiaoxun responded to Xia Ying, and then Ye Xiaoxun also responded to the friends who wished her a happy birthday one by one. Ye Xiaoxun came to his Weibo and saw the neat comments and blessings underneath, and his eyes immediately turned red. Ye Xiaoxun has been writing online articles for 2 years and has never stopped updating. Even on the day of the college entrance examination, she insisted on updating 3 chapters before going to bed. Ye Xiaoxun is a rare gifted writer. Her first novel became an internet hit. During the years when she wrote articles, while she received flowers and praises, she also received slander and slander. But because of these cuties who like her and support her, today, Ye Xiaoxun has never thought of giving up. Readers are her strongest support. When she gets tired of writing, she can read the comments in the book review section. No matter how many cold arrows she receives, she can lick her wounds safely. Ye Xiaoxun's writings pioneered the trend of alternative fantasy female characters, so there has always been a lot of copycats. At first, Ye Xiaoxun would get angry because of this, and would argue with reason. Later, there were too many such phenomena, and Ye Xiaoxun just dealt with it as a Buddha. Although, her readers and fans will continue to complain about her and go to the plagiarist's book review section and Weibo to demand an explanation and apology. But the general environment is unfriendly, and many people will come up with all kinds of ridiculous reasons to protect the Lord even if they see the naked evidence in front of them. It's the last few hours of May. Those who still have monthly tickets in their hands should not waste it. Vote for Xiao. I'll try to update a few more chapters tomorrow, I've been too busy these days. Sci. End of this chapter. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yun Suya. Chapter 640. Chapter 640. I don't know where the clouds are. It is precisely because of those fans who have no brains and say that the plots of any novel are almost the same. They are not called plagiarism, and the conflicts are just coincidences. That's why plagiarism in online articles is so serious. Among them, the person who plagiarized Yeziaksun the most was an author named Yunshen Shishichu. This person has been imitating the formula of Yeziaksun's The Wonderful Doctor since her first novel, and has subsequently published several imitation books. Not only that, the authors she plagiarized are all great gods, and she has also become popular and made a lot of money. It was only after the pot was full that someone found out and plagiarized it. It combines the strengths of each family, and even some of the descriptions are directly copied and pasted. He obviously didn't have any ink in his stomach, so he made a fortune by relying on plagiarism. Not only that, he also became a master who was vigorously cultivated and supported by the website he signed with. So even if someone finds out all kinds of plagiarism and jokes, Yun Shenzhen will just lie down without any response. Unknown fans of Yunshen have been clamoring that there is no plagiarism in their family, and they are loyal to protect the master and condone plagiarism. Yeziaksun still pays attention to Yun Shenzhen from time to time. She recently published a new book, The Magical Doctor and the Demonic Concubine Runs with the Ball. As expected, it is imitated from her new book The Ghost Doctor Empress that she is currently serializing. Although it is only a few tens of thousands of words, a color palette has already been released, once again plagiarizing many great masters. Yeziaksun also doesn't know how long this Yunshen Waju will be protected by the website. She didn't know how long Yunshen Kai planned to catch her plagiarizing. On Weibo, many plagiarized authors have already issued statements preparing to sue Yunshen Shinzuk. Yeziaksun also joined in. Maybe the website felt something was wrong, so Yunshen began to modify the text without knowing it, but no matter how he changed it, the core was still a plagiarized work. Excluding the plagiarized parts, there is really nothing to catch the eye. The party was held at Yeziaksun's favorite restaurant, and Yeziaksun booked a private room to celebrate his birthday. Yeziaksun doesn't have many friends, so he doesn't invite too many people. They are all good friends who grew up together in the community, and classmates who had a lot of fun in high school. Xia Ying finished dressing up and was about to go out. Then she looked at the calm Yu Lingfeng behind her and asked with a frown, "Yu Lingfeng, have you decided? Do you really want to go with me?" Yu Lingfeng and Xia Ying had been to this kind of party before. Yu Lingfeng had a black face the whole time. He also bluntly said that it was boring and a waste of time. But this time, he still chose to go with Xia Ying. It's going to be boring. Xia Ying reminded me. Yu Lingfeng turned slightly and glanced indifferently at Chu Shenxiu, who was slumped on the sofa playing games. No matter how boring it is still better than staying in the same place with Chu Shenxiu. Oh well. Xia Ying nodded and went out with Yu Lingfeng. On the way, Yeziaksun called Xia Ying and urged her to come over quickly. Everyone had already arrived. Good. Xia Ying replied. At this time, Mu Niankai sent a message to the WeChat group of the three of them. Mu Fairy, haha, Xiaoxun, wait and accept the birthday surprise I give you. Xia Ying smiled lightly and said, and mine, Xiaoxun, it will definitely surprise you. End of this chapter.